Hi guys, sorry, I've had a few takes of this and I keep giggling. Yeah, hang on. That's it. I'm on board now again. So, what I'd like to talk to you about is something serious today, about men and the problem we have in relationships. I can only talk about for myself. Okay, I can't talk about other men. I don't know what's inside their hearts or their minds. I don't know. But sorry, I'll take these things off. It's like midnight. Um, oh God. So, why is it difficult for us men to to be in a relationship with a woman? Well, especially like my age, like 40s, 50s, 60s, it becomes more difficult. In your 40s, I think you can still, because you're still quite young, you can I was going to say get it up, but I mean, you still have that virility or whatever. Actually, that's not true because I started having like ED or problems in the virility department when I was about, um, when I was 40, when I was 39, when I met my wife, I already had problems there. And it's not all psychological. Maybe it's the fact that I was on Seroxat, which is called Paxil in the States. It's an SSRI antidepressant. I was on it already for a few years. So that gives you that brewer's droop, or that you don't really feel virile. Is that the right word? Things kind of not exactly go south, but they don't go north. So anyway, that's another video. I'll talk about that in another video. But anyway, why is it that we have problems? You know, I'm not sure whether to address men or women. Um, it's not like I want to educate women because a lot of women know, you know, because they speak to men, and but some women don't know. So okay, I'll I'll focus on women first and then on men. So what women don't understand, or what you guys don't understand, is that we don't like committing, because commitment is dangerous, is fraught with danger. Especially like when you're in your 50s or 60s. I'm still in within the 50s decade, but approaching 60. Um, you don't have much of a choice, do you? Like a man, it doesn't matter whether he's 92 or 12. Every man, every male wants that um, 18 to 26-year-old woman when she's at the peak of her fertility. It's not because you men are bastards. No, it's advertising, it's society, and it's biology. Biology drives this attraction for women of that age bracket. And it's not as if women don't know this. It's not as if women in their 40s say, that young slut, I don't like her. You don't like her because she's more attractive than you. You're a clapped out old banger, and she's like at the peak of, like perfection. Not perfection, but at the peak of her beauty, her youth, you know, and like that clapped out old banger at 45 years of age complaining, when she was 20, she was lapping it all up, all men looking at her, if she's lucky, and it was okay for her then, but it's not okay for her now. It's not okay for young women to lap up all that energy, you know because a woman, when she's good looking, she's good looking. And that's the thing. Men What men want is a pretty face and a figure. That's what they want. They're so fucking simple. It's so simple. All I want is someone that looks nice. And women use that against a man. What's wrong with me? Am I not pretty enough? Or, yeah, you're not pretty enough. It's just like when you use a man's poverty against him. Well, you're not making enough money. John across the road, look at him. He's got a nice car. He's got, so we're being measured up. We're being measured by the amount of money that we have. This is our power. And a woman must be measured. If that's the case, a woman must be measured by her beauty. And can't you see that it's not fair? Can women see that it's so unfair? So if it's unfair for you, don't you think it's unfair for us? So when you see a man who has something over us, a big, strong guy, or who's got loads of money, or can afford more things that you can, and you can't afford it because you'd have, you either have been hurt, have a physical problem, you've got mental health problems, you didn't have the education or the experiences that another person had, And so women will judge, so will men. So you have to understand, like, as a woman, if you hear a man say, well, I'm looking for a woman who's pretty, who's young, and who hasn't had much men enter an intimate relationship with her. I don't know how to say it without getting in trouble, low body count or zero body count. I tell you, look, I'll make it really simple for most women out there. You know what a woman wants. What a man wants. And nowadays you don't bloody know. A man wants a virgin. A man wants a woman that hasn't been touched by any other man. That's the first thing that he wants. The second thing he wants is she has to be pretty, if not beautiful. And then the third thing is obviously that ties in with number one. She has to be faithful once she's with you. And that's it. That's all a woman wants. A woman has to be. That's all. She could be dumb as hell. She could be submissive or whatever. That's all a man wants. So a woman will say, so you want a slave then? Well, instead of judging, just try and understand the man's brain, the way the man has been created, the way that man has evolved human beings have evolved, not men. Your fathers, your grandfathers, your great-great-grandfathers. It's part of you as a woman. You think you're separate from all men that have lived in history. You're not. You're part of this. And modern women are trying to separate yourself. I'm not fucking part of this. You are. You are. Because your grandfather, your great-grandfather, they were all fucking misogynist. They were. They wanted a woman who was pretty, who was a homemaker, and you might say, well, that's the past. Yeah, okay, fair enough, it's the past. But it's what created all of us. This way of thinking, this family, the nuclear family and patriarchy, is part of almost our DNA, and your DNA as a woman as well. It's that modern way of thinking that has put a divide between us and said, have to be a woman now, have to be independent. It's better for two people to work in the house. Why do you have to stay in the kitchen? Because I'll tell you one thing. My mum used to make absolutely lovely food, She wasn't she wasn't qualified to be a chef or anything. My dad was an actual chef. He worked in, I think it's Merchant Navy Hotel. He worked in a few big hotels. And But my mum cooked nicer food than my dad. He used to cook some food, but my mum's cooking was like bloody delicious. And that's like the best food in the world for me. And she taught me, I picked up a few things of how to cook, you know. Well, anyway, going back to men, like, I'm not taking the piss out of women. I'm just trying to say, try and understand. You always go on about the list. You obviously we think from our point of view, from our position, where we're seeing things from our position. Like, if I was a woman, I'd be thinking things from my position and talking to my peers and, you know, complaining about men, you know, men on this and that. But as a man, I can tell you what men do not want. You know, when, like, if I was to speak to a woman and she said, I had this boyfriend, I had that boyfriend, immediately there'll be alarm bells in my brain going off. And I'd be thinking about all the sex positions that she was having with this guy and with that guy. And my love for her would completely, like, erode away. Like, it would shrink. And you can't get horny with a woman who's had, if you think about a woman who's had sex with other men, you can't. So obviously the next best thing, you can't have a woman who's a virgin, who's just had one man, you know. So you have to settle for something slightly less than the perfect woman. There is no perfect woman, but in that case, in this sense, the perfect woman is a virgin, okay? But because you can't have that, you know, and women get so pissed off. Why do you have to have a virgin? Well, instead of becoming emotional about it, try and understand a man wants something pure that hasn't been touched by another man because he thinks someone has shagged his wife already. You know, deep down, he tries to fucking push it down, but he has that in his fucking brain that, you know, Leroy, Tyrone, or whoever it is, has shagged you in the past, and he won't get it out of his fucking head. I think some men who say, yeah, it's all right, love, no problem. You've had relationships with 4 men in the past. Like, you can times that by, like, if she's had if she's had a man, right? She's had one boyfriend for a year, let's say. You can be guaranteed they're shagging every day. They haven't making love every day. Being intimate every day or 5 days a week. You just, like, add those things together. Add those meetings together. Call them meetings, right? And you know, I'm just trying to be nice, but you know, in a man's mind, you'll be thinking, like, she's been plowed so many times, you know, and you just don't want to go there. You don't want to go a place where a man's been. I've just conjured up something really disgusting. I better tell you. I know you guys want to know. Sorry. I better not say it. I'm going to be in trouble, but I'll just say it anyway. Look, I'm being honest, right? I'm just, whatever my tiny brain's coming up with, I'll tell you, okay? Not to offend anyone, okay? No, don't get offended. It's just like, my brain is saying, it's just like, sorry, a man's just, there's a hole in the wall, a man's just shagged that hole, right? And a few men have shagged that hole, and you're the next in line. You're coming, and I'm not fucking going to that I'm not going to that fucking goal. One black guy's been there, one Indian guy, one white guy. I'm not going to go there. I don't want to go there. It's just disgusting. That's different. She cleans herself up. I don't give a fuck. Because a man conjures up in his brain all the men that have been there before. But you got a fucking problem, I'm telling you. It's not a problem. Or a lot of men will think this way. Not all men. And I'm telling you, what, as a woman, what do you want? Do you want a man who says, "Don't worry, love, it's all right, you've shagged, or you've been with many men, it's all right. I've been with loads of women as well." You know, do you want a man like that? Or do you want a man that is jealous? Do you want a man that loves you so much that's not love? I know I'm going to hear that. That if the wind just bloody brushes you, you get angry. You want a man who is jealous, who sees you as a fucking treasure. You are a treasure, and you don't want any man near you. Women secretly fucking want that. They love it. They love it when two men are fucking fighting over her. They love it when the man cares enough that he doesn't want to lose that woman. And he's jealous. He doesn't want any fucking bloke sniffing near her. So don't give me all this bollocks. Oh, men shouldn't be jealous. I mean, there's a stupid kind of jealousy, like where a woman is at home, blokes just fucking come back from the pub, and then, I don't know, he might come home. No, some people are crazy. Some men are crazy, and he might say, "Who you been talking to all day? You didn't answer me when I rang." And she might have been in the toilet or something, or having a bath, and then like plows into her, slaps her and stuff like that. That's the extreme. Those men are not men, they're fucking criminals. you can't lump all men into this category. But for us men, it's really difficult to find. Now I'm talking to men, okay? You guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? Women all leave now, okay? This is like PG moment, or like men only moment. Leave, please. You see all the women, yes, I'm gonna fucking listen to what he's fucking saying, that bastard. So you guys, you know why there's no women here now, yeah? It's just all us men now talking or listening. You don't want to, when you get to an age like 50 or 60, it's difficult to find the perfect woman, isn't it? Like when you're 20 or whatever, you can find that 18-year-old woman who hasn't been touched, or has had one snog, or had a few like boyfriends without actually being entered, if you know what I mean. Because I've spoken to a few guys, and a lot of them feel the same. And you don't have to be a traditional, like Muslim or Jew or Christian. A lot of men think this way. Maybe it's an old way of thinking, but it's a good way of thinking, because you don't want any sexually transmitted disease or anything. But the problem with us is, if you're 50 or 60, you don't have much of a choice, do you? Because the woman you're going to, if you find a woman, she's going to be maybe in her 40s, if you're lucky. I made a video about liking younger women. It's a kind of funny, it was real, but I was talking the truth, but I was just talking about what men like. They like women of a certain age, 18 to 28, let's say. And that's a fact, because women of that age are the most fertile, the most beautiful, the slimmest, the most calm. Yeah, I know, not nowadays, but what I'm trying to say is, yeah, and I said that, and some woman had clapped out old banger at the age of 45. She was saying to me, "You are an effing pervert." Oh, because I said I would like to have a woman in her 30s, 35, and I'm 58. That makes me a pervert. I didn't say fucking 12, did I? I said 35. When you've passed the bloody wall, when nobody wants you, when no man wants you as a husband, to have children, I mean, where less men would want you. And I'm still getting shit from this 45-year-old clapped out old banger You know, and I say clapped out old banger. At 45, at least I looked good. She looks terrible. Anyway, and you'll get that. You'll get women that will say to you, pervert. You know, you're not a pervert. A perverted person is someone who chases children or younger women and does something criminal to them. It's a two-way thing. You know, the younger woman has to want to be with you. So how are you a pervert? Because you're chasing someone younger. I bet you if these women, like, if there's a lady in her 50s and then chooses a younger man, it's called a tomboy. You're not a pervert. Like for them, anything fucking goes. But when it comes to men, they're perverts, misogynists, all these kinds of fucking names. Just let them talk. Yeah, so it's difficult for us, isn't it? What choice do you have? Like, inside your brain, you really want that 18-year-old, 18 to 28-year-old woman who is young, her body is tight. Things are still like hooks, you know, north, not going south. She doesn't have emotional baggage like with a high body count. Maybe she has 1 or 2 relationships or whatever, or 0. I mean, you can find virgins in their 30s. They're probably really ugly or fat or something, but not that I don't like ugly or fat women. Some women who are ugly might be kind of still attractive because, you know, like, they still have a nice character, you know, nice character. Maybe they're slim, you know, so they make up in different areas. When I say ugly, I mean ugly. Sorry. Like me, basically. But already, when I say fat, I mean obese. Like, a lot of people are fat, but like really, really, like, where they're at death's door, like 300, 400 pound, whatever it is, you know. And I feel sorry for them, but they do look bad because it's like an illness, you know. But anyway, a man doesn't want that. A man wants someone who looks pretty. It's just not politically correct, but I'm just saying, from evolution, is not politically correct. You want a young woman who's, one, pretty, slim, can be slightly plump, but not bloody obese, 600 kilos or something. Sorry, 600 pounds. Could you imagine 600 kilos? Yeah. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with fat or ugly women or people. It's just, this is what most men want. If there was a kind of poll, you don't even need a poll. You know what men want, what is attractive, you know. For men in any bloody country, any culture, that's what they want. But it's difficult for men. Like, if you're 50 or 60, let's say, how are you going to find that young woman? One, if you're Jeff Bezos. If you're an older man, it's difficult unless you have money, because what she brings to the table is youth, beauty, fertility, which you might not want, but it's all part of the package. But what do you bring? You're a clapped out old banger. You see, us clapped out old bangers, we don't want a clapped out old banger. We want something new, you know, a new model. It's disturbing, it's disgusting how you value older women. Well, it may be disturbing to some of you men or women, but that's the way it is. It's difficult for us to find a good woman. One, at your age, say 50 to 60, the woman you find in that age bracket is going to have children, is going to be divorced or widowed and have children. then you have to take on board these kids. These kids might not fucking like you, you know. And if they're boys, they'll be men, you know. They can beat the shit out of you, you know, if you don't treat that mum properly. So from the beginning, you're under pressure. If that woman has young children, if she's in her 40s and she's got children, I don't know, who are 5, 10 years of age, if she started late, then you have to you're responsible for them. She's going to expect you to be the father figure. So she arrives with baggage. How can you call children baggage? It's baggage. For you, it's baggage. For a man who's gone through life and doesn't want any stress, then has to deal with children, either grown men or grown women, or children who are younger. And if a man just wants to chill out, he just wants to have a woman for himself, doesn't want any kids, it's very difficult. When I was living in China, I was in my late 30s at the time, and it was really difficult. You know, it's a really traditional country, right? And so most women are married off at the age of 25. So the people that I used to not hang around with, but meet are the women or girls at the university. And so they were about, I don't know, 18 years of age. I used to play badminton with them, and one of those girls wanted to have a relationship, and it just didn't work. You know, she's too young, 18 years of age, really plump girl, and it just didn't work. You know, there's light years between the way we thought. So then I thought, who could I meet? You can only meet someone who's divorced. So like someone who's been divorced would be maybe in her 30s, 35, something like that. So you're going to have to, the choice you have is a young woman at the age of 18 or 20 before she gets to that, hits the wall. But after she hits the wall at 28, what is this hitting the wall? It means that the wall is at an age where a lot of women want to get married because their fertility drops and their attractiveness drops. I'm not saying this, but a lot of people say it. I mean, there's some, well, I've got no choice now. I'm 58, so a woman of 30 is attractive to me. But when I was young, when I was maybe, I don't know, 22, 25, a woman of 30 would be too old. So a man usually always chooses someone younger and shorter than him. Doesn't choose someone who's tall or someone who's older. You see, now you get these men, young men like older women. No, they don't. They're just weird. They have this strange, I don't know. It's more natural for an older man to want to be with a younger woman than it is for a younger man to be with an older woman. That's just weird. It looks stupid. You know, I mean, it does look stupid when you get like a 70-year-old, 80-year-old man with an 18-year-old Filipina. Yeah, some of you are thinking, fucking lucky bastard. Yeah, but it's not. It's not as simple as that. Like, I've been watching like those videos on the Philippines, and you've got those passport bros. All those guys, you know, go into the Philippines, and they're saying, "Oh, it's like a paradise there." No, not so quickly. I don't think it's a paradise there. They know that Western men, especially American men, have a pension, got lots of money. They keep that person happy for a few years. When the person kicks the bucket, then they've got that money for the rest of their lives. So it's like you've just won the lottery if you're with a Western man. So it's the same thing. It all boils down to money and security for a woman. So because these guys go to a really poor, because the Philippines is a poor country, and they have their pick of women. So like, it's like somebody coming here to the UK and being a billionaire. Like, you'd have your pick of women, and all their feminist ideals will go out the window as soon as they know that you're a billionaire. They're, oh hi, you know. But like Joe Blogs, you know, John Smith or whatever, just John Doe, whatever it's called in in the States, normal guy. Don't fucking look at me like that, fucking pervert. So if you're a normal guy here, because you don't have any power. And women get used that way. There was once a friend of mine that I knew, an ex actually, and she was talking to a guy in the States. He was an Indian guy, millionaire, and had a boat or something like that, a speed boat, had a yacht, and she was talking to this guy on WhatsApp, and she said, like, obviously he you know, he was giving her all this. He was like advertising. He's such a great guy, and yeah. Once she said to me, I'm going to the States with my man." I thought, what the fuck is she talking about? And she explained to me. She kept being really proud about it. Well, I've got my man now, and he's got a helicopter there, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life in the States, where I've always wanted to go. I think Connecticut or somewhere like that. Okay, I have to laugh. She found that she was really disappointed. She found out it was a short Indian guy who was scamming her. He didn't have any fucking money at all. I think he wanted to take money off her. It's so funny, because she was saying, she was all proud. I'm going with my man now. Yeah, your man. She was in her 30s, overweight, had kids. Which man is gonna? I mean, someone that you don't know, a rich man is gonna come and then sweep you away. It's all bollocks. You have got baggage, basically, and they believe in this. I fell in love on the internet. No man is gonna fucking fall in love on the internet. Well, they would, but they want to fall in love with that woman, the perfect woman, young woman, no children, no experience. That's what a man wants. That's what a man dreams about. But because of this society, this bastard society, we can't get that, because a woman who's had 3, 4, 5, 10 relationships is the norm now. And woe betide if you say anything. Oh, well, you've had a few boyfriends. What's wrong with that? You know, can't say anything. So what's the choice for us? I mean, so like someone might say, well, Gerald, you're divorced now. Why don't you just find a woman? What fucking woman? What? The women that are available to me are women 45. If I'm lucky, I'll be called a pervert. But 45 to 60, 70, 80, 90, that's no problem. You're not a fucking pervert. She gets the benefit. You can't get your fucking benefit. So what choice do I have? I have no choice. Well, if you put your standards lower, and I'm not going to put my standards lower. I'm not going to go from a 60-year-old clapped out old banger, more clapped out than I am, you know. And I suppose if a woman hasn't had children, that's different. That's different. So there's no baggage there. But the thing, it's no one's fault. It's not a woman's fault. It's not a man's fault. It's just time. Time has passed, and you're not as attractive as you used to be, and neither is the woman. You know, she's not attractive, and you're not attractive. but it does. So women are thinking, well, what's wrong? It's all fair, isn't it? No, it's not fair, because a man in his tiny mind still wants a woman who hasn't been plowed by Tom, Dick, and Harry. You know, a mature man doesn't think about these things. Yes, he fucking does. Well, anyway, I mean, so what choice does a man have? No, seriously. I know I joke a lot, but seriously, what a man in his 50s and 60s, what choice does he have? He has to choose a woman that is either widowed, divorced, has kids, uh, unless, imagine, he finds that woman who is 40, 45, still kind of attractive, no children, no relationships. That's a diamond, diamond in the rough, as a, you know, or a young woman in her 20s, like 25, 28, that says, I want to be with you. I don't care you're fucking 92. Doesn't matter that you're a billionaire. No, seriously, if you haven't got a lot of money and the younger woman wants to be with you, there has to be some kind of profit for the younger woman, right? Forget about the fact that she's a woman. She's a human being. What is in it for her? What do you bring to the table? You know, if you're a guy with a white beard and don't have a lot of money, your health is not good, does she want to be your daughter? Okay, in that case, that's her reason to be with you, I suppose. I don't know, but if she sees you as a mature man, a wise man, then yeah, okay, maybe love can flourish there. I don't know, but for us men, there's no point. So what I'm trying to say is that's why I just want to be alone. If I can't get, and it's not the perfect woman. Sooner or later, if you find a woman like in your age range, like if I find a woman in my age range, like I'm 58, I find a woman at the age of 58, I can't fucking relate to them. Like they're all like thinking about that they're gonna die soon, or you know, I can't face just like, looking looking at them. You know, they don't, they look old and knackered. I know I am old and knackered as well. Don't get me wrong, but like I couldn't settle for a woman in the 60s, 70s. Forget about it. But you never know in this life. You know, you might find a 60, 70-year-old woman who's really a nice lady, um, a jewel. You know, I don't know. But I don't know about you guys. What are you gonna do? Like if you're 50s or you're in your 50s or 60s, you've just been divorced, and you have to start all over again. All this bullshit of courting and taking a woman out and being romantic and stuff like that. Like I don't even want to. I don't want to do it. Going through a relationship and then after 20 years, it crashing. You don't want to do it again. You don't want to even make the effort, because the energy that it took, you know, and the amount of the life force that was taken away. I don't know, for me, I'm just too afraid. I'm too tired. I'm tired. You know, I don't have the energy anymore. And that's what being with a woman, most women, I reckon, would be like. Too draining. If you can get it up, it'll be sexually draining. If you can't, it'll be emotionally draining. It'll be emotionally draining anyway. Financially draining. So, are you saying a woman is a parasite? People can be parasites, whether it's a man or a woman. But in the context of my speech, yes, women can be parasites. But I'm not saying that. I mean, there's give and take. Obviously, she has to get something from you. You have to get something from her, right? This is equality. and relationships have to be kind of reciprocal. So, uh, like for us men, what's in it for us? You're a 60-year-old man, let's say 55, 65, 60, in that age range, even 45. What are you going to do? What kind of woman are you gonna look for? If you still want that young woman, you're going to have to go to the Philippines or somewhere like that. And even if you go there, don't bring that woman back to the UK or to America, because she's going to start to realize you're not the catch that she thought you were. Over there, you're the catch because there's not many of you, many Westerners, And in the eyes of society, she's got like a trophy. Oh, okay, white guy or black guy or whatever, money, because even your pension is money to them. It's something. But once you take her back here, she's going to see lots of other handsome men like Westerners and see you. Oh, this guy's just got a pension or just got benefit. These guys are actually working. I'm pretty. I can attract them. And that's it. She's gone. Or she's going to find out about equality and that she can divorce you and take your 500 grand house or whatever. Take half of it. So, those videos, those channels talking about, oh, go to the Philippines, have fun, or go to Thailand. Apart from being the semen sink of Asia, why would you want to go to Thailand or the Philippines when you know other blokes have gone there? They're promiscuous as hell. They don't use condoms. So that would be frightening for me. Finding a young lady and then knowing that she's been plowed by so many other men. It's that plowing thing again, you see. I'd have to go to a bloody monastery or with the nunnery and try and find a young nun. Yeah, go there as a monk and then take one of these nuns and elope. Yeah, that's the next. In the future, you're going to see me with a big beard and a monk outfit and just enticing one of these nuns to go with me. With my luck, I elope with her and then find out that the reason I went, the reason I became a nun is because I was plowed by 100 men. Oh, fucking bastard. Sorry, I'm talking rubbish here. But anyway, seriously, it's very difficult for men to find a woman after you reach a certain age. If you want to settle down with a woman of that is your age, then that's okay. Then it's easier. But it's not easy because as human beings, as we age, we deteriorate. Our brains deteriorate as well. And so all the emotional baggage that she has, all her anxiety, worries, the anger will fucking increase because her brain isn't as young as before, isn't as healthy as before. Sorry. So when you're young, maybe when you're, I remember when I was 20 or 30, I can take loads of shit. Now, there's a lot of things I can't take. So as a man, I've become difficult, very difficult. And I'm only 58. Women are the same. They are also more difficult as they age. So that's another problem. You have a deteriorating brain in that woman, in yourself, but in that woman. So you need something that complements that deteriorating brain, a younger brain that can take your shit, that will be a calming kind of energy. If a woman's older, she's got her own shit, she's got her past, she's got her family, she's not going to be very calming towards you. She's got her own stress, her own problems, you know. Initially, she wants to meet a man, a companion, but then she's got her own stuff. She brings that into the relationship, and you bring your own stuff into the relationship. So it's not a question of yin and yang anymore. It's yang and yang. It's, you know, mental emotional garbage and mental emotional garbage. So I don't know if I made sense. So the reason why I wouldn't want to be with a woman is because I wouldn't have much of a choice. And even if, let's say, I was a billionaire or whatever, had loads of money, and I had the opportunity to have younger women, have a relationship with younger women, younger woman, let's say, and she was about 25 to 30 or whatever, or 30 years of age, and yeah, I would be happy because physically she's attractive, and just because she's because of the age, sorry, there's a different way of thinking. Sorry. You know, she might just be like very mature for her age. You could be very childlike for your age, childish or whatever. If you find a woman like that ticks all those boxes, then okay. But as I said,